All right, let's get to it. It's the Weather for Weather Geeks edition for Monday evening, the 6th day of October in 2025, and we actually have some interesting things to talk about this week. First rain, then cooler weather, and perhaps some frost concerns later this week. But what a run we've been on since last week. We had a high 79 on Friday, 82 Saturday, 81 Sunday, and 82 today. So for all intents and purposes, we've been around 81 or 82 over the last 3 days. Not record territory, but of course, well above the average for this time of the year. And I suspect these numbers across the region today are going to be the warmest that we'll see until sometime next spring. 82 officially in Pittsburgh today, 84 in New Philly, 81 the high in Akron, and look at that lofty 85 up at Hopkins Airport in Cleveland earlier on today. Yes, we're not heading into a cool pattern per se anytime real soon, but the warmer pattern that we'll be getting back into as we head into mid-month will not be in this kind of territory. We're talking about highs in the 60s and 70s instead of the 80s. But what a start to the day we had today. You know, we've had some cool mornings of late, but the afternoons have been nice and warm. A few fair weather clouds started to bubble up as expected during the second half of the day today. But the sky mostly clear out there this evening. Clear enough that you should definitely check out the rising full moon this evening. The clouds will thicken up overnight, so the best time to view our full moon will be this evening. Oftentimes the full moon after the equinox in the fall season is called the harvest moon. This is also technically a supermoon to the naked eye. It appears to be a little bit bigger, a little bit brighter, but you know, I think most people have a hard time telling the difference. I know I certainly have a hard time telling the difference between a regular full moon and a supermoon, so it's not something I usually promote or hype all that much because, it's just a full moon usually that just is a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter than usual. Clouds will then thicken up as we head past midnight into the overnight tonight, but again, we have a patch of clearing overhead this evening to check out that emerging full moon. Our cold front that's approaching during midweek, pretty easy to find on the weather map this evening. 81 in St. Louis, 55 in Des Moines, and that cold front is charging eastward. It'll cross the area on our Tuesday evening. Out ahead of it, though, it turns muggy, and we've got a pretty good chance for showers, of course, in the forecast for Tuesday. The rain doesn't look like much on the radar this evening, but a couple of different areas of wet weather, one across the Ohio River Valley from Cincinnati to Louisville down towards Cape Girardeau, and points to the south towards Memphis as well. Another band of showers along our actual cold front is right out here from Omaha up towards Marquette, Michigan, and into parts of Canada as well. As far as timing of the rainfall, again, we're dry this evening. As many head out the door on Tuesday morning, though, rain will become increasingly likely, as you'll see on our high-res futurecast here by daybreak tomorrow morning. Showers around, probably nothing all that heavy at the start of the day, but heavier rain will become more and more likely as we go through the day on our Tuesday. And while it's not going to be in the 80s tomorrow, it's not going to be as warm, it'll be more humid and pretty muggy by October standards for one day. Kind of a sticky feel to the air tomorrow with those dew points plateauing in the 60s. Last time we're going to be talking about dew points that high maybe until next spring as well. Hourly rain chances. Don't forget, you can always check out these hourly forecasts on the Storm Tracker 21 app. And we're splitting hairs from 1 hour to the next tomorrow. For all intents and purposes, just plan on a rainy day. The rain chance is elevated throughout the day. Yes, there could be a little downtick in the coverage of showers for a time in the afternoon. But again, if you have to work outdoors on Tuesday, just plan on it being a pretty rainy day. The happy hour version of the NAM went a little nuts with its rainfall expectations. The consensus remains half to 1 inch worth of rain coming our way in about a 13 to 15 hour period starting around daybreak tomorrow morning and then taking us up through about midnight tomorrow night. So here's one model depiction of the rain for our Tuesday. Again, pretty steady at times during the morning and midday, maybe a little bit of a lull mid-afternoon, but let me back up our cold frontal passage right about here. Sunset-ish Tuesday evening. This might be the best chance of hearing a clap of thunder here and there early Tuesday evening. That's also the best chance of a hefty downpour. It will be early in the evening on Tuesday. By the time we head towards midnight and especially into the overnight, the rain's gone, the sky will clear, and high pressure then rules the roost through the rest of the week. This will be ideal radiational cooling conditions later on this week. So for the first time this year, or this season I should say, we're talking about a legit chance of at least patchy frost out there Thursday morning and probably again Friday morning as well. Here's one depiction of the expected temperatures at daybreak or so on Thursday. I think it's going to be common to see 35, 36, 37 degrees. It can frost can form with those kinds of air temperatures. Don't forget, air temperatures are measured officially a few feet, a handful of feet above ground level. Frost down on the grass and on your car top and things like that, that's lower, and the temperatures are often at least a few degrees cooler that low to the ground, so you can have frost where the temperature on the ground might be close to freezing, but up a few feet it's 35 or 36, and so that's how that happens. So, I'm a little more confident in patchy frost Thursday morning. Some of the modeling would suggest Friday morning is maybe not quite as chilly, but at this point we're not going to split hairs. We're going to call it about the same thing both mornings with frost possibilities. Now after that, it's going to be October, weather for Friday and the weekend, but those early morning lows will not sink down into the mid-30s as we head towards the weekend and beyond. What is heading our way is actually another prolonged dry stretch. The atmospheric moisture will be rock bottom again late this week and into the weekend. There's probably going to be a low that somewhere off the eastern seaboard brings some lousy weather to coastal areas, but that's going to be too far to the east to bring us any impacts around here. I think we stay high and dry into the first half of next week. Temperature-wise, we're going to be above the average, it looks like, in the longer term. Now, don't forget, we're heading into mid-October in the 8 to 14-day outlook, so a warm day at that time of the year is 70 degrees. It's not 82 like we have been over the last few days. Again, I don't think we see the 80s again after we had them over the last few days. I think we're going to see lots of highs in the upper 60s and lower 70s, though, during the middle portions of the month of October. In the meantime, enjoy the changes we have ahead. If you are having a hard time getting in the fall mood, the fall spirit, when it's so warm and sunny outside, you're going to like the forecast for the next several days with rain Tuesday and some crispy cool weather to follow for Wednesday, Thursday, and into the weekend as well. In the meantime, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday evening, and I will see you right back here on Tuesday.